Good morning, good Sunday morning, YouTube. Hope those of y'all that can't drive today are in church, because that's where you need to be. Y'all all need Jesus. We really all do. Alright, so week 7 and week 8 numbers, I'm going to go ahead and run through the whole gambit. Week 6, I know I did 5 and 6 together the other day, and they were not, I was missing something in there. It was off just a little bit by like 50 cents or something like that. But on another note, and I spoke with James last night, his spreadsheet on my end, he hasn't seen anything yet, so he's got to check it. But I fixed it last night, so my numbers will be correct. Now, if you don't use Excel, be expecting a video from James on how you need to quit being cheap like me and actually go use Excel. Because the formulas work without having to toy with them. But if you don't use Excel and you use like Google Sheets or whatever, or there's another one, I forgot what it is, but I don't use it anymore. I just use Google Sheets. So if you use that, you need to fix an alarm. It says get up. It's 7 a.m. I got to leave it around 8 or so to get to Wooster, and then I'm going to run 2 hours deadhead down the road to pick up a load, and running 2 more hours down the road to drop it Monday morning, because I can't drop it tonight. Anyway, so I'm in Fort Wayne. Good times, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5 hours. I'm trying to keep my hours to 7.5, 8 hours, because I'm running on recaps after, well, pretty much now. But the formula in the variable expenses is wrong. I don't remember if I fixed it in the fixed expenses, but if you look at, that's only if you have this spreadsheet. If you look at, what column is this? C83. And if it says subtotal of C33 through C82, it's adding all the columns together, and you got your normal amount of funds, like how much they cost you as in fuel, like $800 in fuel, but you also have the fuel per mile and whatever else it is, the maintenance per mile, etc., every one of those. So mine was taking the fuel and the fuel per mile and adding it all together and putting it at the bottom for the variable expenses. So say I had $800 in fuel, there would be $800, and say it was 38 cents per mile, it would be $800.38 for total variable expenses. Now that doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you take, say it's $1 per mile on variable expenses, if you add that dollar to your bottom line on the variable expenses all the way across the board for 52 weeks, that's $52 on that column alone. So if you watch him and you use his spreadsheet, stay tuned. He's going to see if it's messed up on Excel. If you're using Google Sheets, look into fixing that if you know how. If you don't, send me a message. I'll tell you what you need to do. It can be a little bit of a pain. It's actually really easy, because Google Sheets and Excel spreadsheets are they're really easy to fix. Anyway, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to nitty gritty. Let's have us a cattywampus. Line haul and bonuses. I did not get any bonuses. And miscellaneous. So week 7 and week 8, I had a VNU on each week. Week 8 is this week. It's not over yet. And yes, I'm jumping the gun. No, I don't care. Okay, I won't do week 8. I'll wait on that. But I'll tell you right now, I'm set up on week 8 for $47.74.99. I will tell you that much, and it's looking at $2.01 a mile. And part of the reason for that is Monday, my load, I went to Rankin to pick up a load going to Shippensburg, and it canceled out, and I got the VNU on that. And then I found a load at 3 p.m. to go to Kentucky to come up here into the Midwest, and it actually worked out better because the rate per mile overall worked out better. But it's actually like $1.73 per mile because it's stealing some of the funds from last week, because I did pick it up Monday and drove a couple hours into the trip. I might have mentioned that before. I did make a video, but I didn't post one of them, so I don't know what all I've said and what I haven't said. Well, I know what I've said. I just don't know what y'all have seen. Because, you know, I don't post every single video I make because I just don't post every video I make. That's no good. I'm not posting that crap. That's garbage. All right, so 5 minutes running my mouth about stuff y'all don't really care about, do you? Anyway, so between line haul and VNU for week 7. Now, mind you, it was Valentine's Day week, and I got home Friday. And I stayed home until Monday. So that eats into the funds, as always. All right, so $24.57.90 was the total income for $1.26 per mile, which doesn't give me much room for profit. Standard fixed expenses were all the same as usual, $11.44.45 at 59 cents per mile. Horrible. Fuel was only $6.74.40. I'm actually doing better on my fuel than I have been. Kind of. It varies dramatically. Next week, I do have tolls coming out, so there's going to be extra expenses, and I'm waiting to see what the IFTA says, because that's going to come out as well. It hasn't populated in their settlement statement yet, but it's still early in the week, because they don't do anything on Saturday and Sunday. Anyway, so variable expenses, $694.60 at 36 cents a mile for total expenses of $1839.05 per mile for total expenses per mile of 94 cents per mile. I was only out 4 days. My cost per day is higher at $459.76 a day, but you look at week 3, which was a 5-day out, my cost per day was $456.30. The rest of them are between $270 to $300. No. Yeah, $270 to right at $300. I only drove 1,953 miles, and I want to say 250 of that was driving home from Greensboro, North Carolina, or 200 of that. So if you take 1,753 miles where I just said screw it, gave up, then it's a lot better as far as the money goes on profit per mile. My profit per mile was only 32 cents a mile. So remember, people, when you go home and you live in a dead area, you're going to have a dead check. My profit was $618.85. Of course, I got less than that because I've got other expenses taken out. And this doesn't show the minus 135 for whatever it is that they take out of my check every week. So average daily revenue was only $154.71, which is horrible. I usually make more than that. I make well above that. Even when I had the 5-day one in week 3, it was $209.77 per mile. And it would have been more because I was looking at a $500 load going from Greensboro to Union City, and I would have went home from there. So we would have been less deadhead get to the house, even though I did get great gas mileage, fuel mileage. Anyway, so if I look at the numbers, they'll stay about the same because I know how many miles I'm going to drive until the end of the week. I'm going to drive right at 2377, and very close to it. I use that, what is the name of that program? Milon. And I use that to figure an approximate of how long it's going to take me to get there. So I use Milon app, and yeah, I pay for it, but whatever. I don't care. It's only a couple of dollars a month. It's actually very good at what I need it for. So I'm going to have close to 2,400 miles, 2377. I should make $1.07 profit per mile. Next week, we shall see, with $363 in daily revenue. But that'll put me at, I'm not going to go through all these numbers because it's just speculation right now. So, but month 2 is looking good. So, other than that, everything's going well here. Yeah, and if it actually works out well, then total expenses per mile for first month was 90 cents. For second month, looks like it's going to be 89, so right at 90. That doesn't include home expenses and stuff like that, which adds another approximately 27 cents per mile to it. So yeah, I can get away with $1.07 per mile, or right around there. Profit went from 73 cents a mile to 86 cents a mile, and I should make $1.75 a mile this month, as opposed to $1.63 last month. So it's working out, fellas. If I stay along these lines, I'm set up to make 180 gross at the end of the year. If I continue to increase my revenue, and I ran the numbers, if I can increase it, I just need to increase it 12 more cents. And I can bring home, I'll have over 200 gross, and I can bring home a good bit of that. Minus about almost 100 in expenses. So, and then after taxes. And taxes vary widely, so, mine are, I watch, what's his name, Trucker Will for Prime. He drives a reefer unit, and I think he's high on his taxes. He says somebody told him 10 cents per mile. I think he's got a bad accountant, because mine averaged 7 cents per mile last year, and that's with a penalty, because I had my 401k rolled over into the Roth, and I had a loan out on that, and I got penalized for taking out, I think it was down to $2,500. So I got penalized for taking out $2,500. What they do is they'll charge the tax on it, and then they'll charge you a penalty on the withdrawal. So, which is a ridiculous amount of money. It didn't help me any. Let's put it that way. But it's all good, because the numbers are looking good. All right. So other than that, I got nothing. I'm going to head here from Fort Wayne to Wooster. Yeah, those top secret loads for the people I used to work for, going to Wooster. It's funny because I picked this up over there in Crest Hill. I'm grabbing a load from a different location of these top secret people and going back to Crest Hill to the exact same location. And you got them dedicated boys. Oh, that's all I run is Frito. That's all I run. Man, come on. The loads don't pay that good. Yeah, they're light. They ain't all that, man. I can tell you, I can make more money off of other loads than I can off of Frito loads. I don't know what the fascination is with those. Oh, no wear and tear on my truck. You're driving your truck. You're putting wear and tear on your truck. It's light, yeah, but whatever. Give me a break. I don't care for those loads. They don't help me at all. So I think that is all I've got for today. I just wanted to make a quick short video. I just can't wait to see the end of this week and see where my second month stands, because man, it's gonna be awesome. I'm looking at 30,000, a hair over 30 for first quarter numbers at $1.64 a mile, but we got a whole nother month to go. So a whole nother month to go in the first quarter. So far, total expenses on 30 gross, for those of you that like to know, is half of that, $16,049 at 87 per mile. I got a few more things to add in there. I didn't put my health insurance on here. That's about $200 and some change a month. And there's other deductions I need to figure out that I can take. But I'm only looking at 9,000 miles a month, because I'm at 18.4 at the end of this month, right? So that's 9,200 per month. Admittedly, of course, this month only has 4 weeks. So you take whatever you got, multiply it by 4.3, and you'll come up with an average, because there's 4.3 weeks in a month, not 4, because there's not 28 days in every month. So remember when you do your numbers. So I'm looking at mileage of, wait a minute, I'm in the wrong section. Page down. I just like to look at all this stuff. 9,000 miles per month. So at that rate, that's 108,000 miles a year, which is actually really good. I was looking at 115 to 120, so I'm actually beating my mileage, and I keep getting better at running these routes and then running these lanes, which is going to increase my overall revenue as far as gross and net. And that is all, people. Y'all have a blessed Sunday.